Hi, thanks for staying with us. If you would like a copy of our video, Nantucket Sound, once it's gone forever, please don't hesitate to contact us at saveoursound.org or at the phone number below. Please help us spread the word about our mission to protect Nantucket Sound. So now we have Audra Parker has returned and stayed with us to talk a bit more about the review process of Cape Wind. So Audra, can you give us an update on, after 6 years of review, where does this project stand?
Yeah, it's been a long road with this project. Basically, at the local level, we have the Cape Cod Commission, which is a regulatory agency, and they actually issued what's called a procedural denial. So they denied the Cape Wind project because they didn't feel that they had answered all the questions they needed answered, that there wasn't an extension of time, and there wasn't enough information. But Cape Wind is appealing that to the state, and so that is underway now, and it's fairly significant because basically they're trying to circumvent the local process and the opinion of the locals in terms of not wanting this project. At the federal level, I think on this past week, the federal agency, which is called Mineral Management Service, or MMS, which is a bureau of the Department of Interior, they're the federal agency in charge of reviewing Cape Wind, and they issued a significant document called the DEIS, or Draft Environmental Impact Statement. And you've probably seen it covered in the press, but essentially what it is, it's a review of, or an estimate, an assessment of what the impacts would be of the Cape Wind project, as well as kind of a cursory comparison to some alternatives. Okay. And what the DEIS is not, it is not an approval of the project, it is not endorsing the project, it does not even, after 6-7 years of review, and after DEIS that came out 3 years ago by the Army Corps, there's still no endorsement of Cape Wind as the preferred alternative over the other alternatives. So it's really important to know it's not a done deal, and this is not an approval.
So despite some of the headlines that people might have been reading lately,
yes,
Cape Wind is not a done deal.
Yes, despite some of the headlines, Cape Wind is not a done deal, which leads us to tell you why it's very important for you, the public, to get involved, for you to participate in the public hearings, for you to visit us on our website, keep informed, keep up to date, talk to us, spread the word, recruit other people that to come and speak and make your voices heard at the public hearings. Maybe a minute or two also about what the DEIS actually did say,
yes,
because I'm sure people have been reading that in the press as well. Basically what it did is went through and looked at a lot of potential impacts on the environment, on birds, on fisheries, on marine mammals, on navigation, on aviation, on the seafloor, just probably 25, 30 issue areas. And it concluded that there would be moderate impacts on birds, including some threatened and endangered species.
Wow.
As well as on fisheries and some marine mammals. However, it did say that there were a lot of areas where the impacts would be minor or negligible. And for us, we see some red flags with that, so we are at the Alliance assembling a team of experts to do an independent review of this during the public comment period. And one of the areas that we see as a problem, actually there's two areas just to give you an example.
Okay.
One was on aviation. I mentioned before that the local airports oppose this project because they're concerned about passenger safety to their passengers, to the people flying over Nantucket Sound. And the DEIS concluded that impacts to aviation would be minor to negligible. But at the same time, the Federal Aviation Authority, the FAA, the acting director, wrote a letter to Congressman Delahunt saying that they were giving it a presumed hazard determination and that they were going to be doing additional studies.
And so this was not addressed at all in the federal government's review?
It was not addressed. It might have been a timing issue, but basically they're saying that that the impacts to aviation would be minor to negligible, and at the same time you've got the FAA saying, well, that may not be the case. We need to do more studies. So we think that that's one reason why we need a lengthy comment period, why we need the review of other agencies, not just the Alliance, but the comments of the public and the comments of other organizations and other agencies that have key areas of expertise. And then the other area was in terms of cost, where MMS is saying they're looking at viable projects, yet they said that Cape Wind Cape Wind's preferred site in Horseshoe Shoal, right smack dab in the center of Nantucket Sound, as well as the other alternative sites that they're looking at, would not be profitable at today's electric prices. So what that means is this power is going to be expensive, and it's not going to, and it's going to be so much more expensive than what we're currently paying, that either the project's not going to be viable or the ratepayers are going to have to pay a premium to have this project. So it's really important for the public to know that it's not, cheap and green, it's cheap or green. And there are better ways to go. There's better alternatives than sacrificing Nantucket Sound for the profit, of a private developer.
Right. And I think that's another important point that you mentioned earlier. This is a private developer seeking to come in and industrialize our sound for his gain, basically.
Right.
So,
and despite the opposition, strong opposition by the ferries, the chambers, the airports, the fishermen, there's a lot of opposition here on the Cape and Islands where we're going to bear the impacts of this project and the cost of this project. And we need to speak up. We need to get energized. It's not a done deal, but we're at the tail end of this project, and we really need you to get involved.
So what can people do?
Well, the first thing they can do is go to the public hearings, March 10th to the 13th on the Cape, the Islands, and one in Boston. So it's really important that you come, you recruit your friends, get a copy of our video if you need to, if that helps you explain why this is a bad idea. But really come there. If you want to speak, even better. And if you just want to come and attend and show your opposition to this project, that's really important.
And you can also submit written comments as well?
You can submit written comments. The deadline, I think, is March 20th. And you can submit your written comments or go to one or multiple of the hearings, and you can go on our website. You can call us in the office. We're more than happy to come talk to you on the phone and give any support. But we really need people right now, people of the Cape and Islands, people beyond, to get energized and help stop Cape Wind.
Okay, so there's no denying that the time is now. This has been a lengthy review process of over 6 years, but people need to know that now is the time to act, right?
That's right. Now is the time to act. We need your help now.
Great. So thanks for joining us, Audra, and
thank you.
Lending us all your expertise. But for everyone watching, please know to act now, because once Nantucket Sound is gone, it's gone forever. Thanks for joining us.